I may fall in love too fast, give everything to make this last. That's just who I am, that's just who I am. I'll probably even put you first, and forgive you even when it hurts. That's just who I am, that's just who I am.
Hey, Winning with Love family, Agape Maniacs, this is Robert Brown, and we're here again on the Winning with Love broadcast on YouTube, and I hope you got everybody on this particular episode, because this one, everybody needs to listen to, including me. I'm preaching to myself. Well, I'm not preaching, I'm just discussing some things, but one of the things I want to deal with before we get into this is, we're going to be talking about for a while this F-Me series. This F-Me series is going to be so great. It's going to change some lives. And, like I said, I didn't get in this to build an audience. I got in this to build people. So if I change one life with this F-Me series, I'm glad. And I already been told that the series have been changing people's lives, one person at a time, and that's all it takes. And they're really changing their mindset concerning forgiveness and unforgiveness. I mean, when I say F-Me, I really mean you to F me. I need you to forgive me when I have a default. I'm going to have a default, you're going to have a default, so I'm already primed and ready to forgive you and continue to build a relationship with you. Now, do me a favor. Don't intentionally default and do bad things to me. Please don't do that, because you mess you up, because I got a God that loves me, and He's not going to have anybody just do anything to me. So please, don't do that. He's very protective over me. But if you're in the default or you mess up, I'm already wired, geared to forgive you. And I want to get you guys in a position to be the same way, where you're already wired to forgive people. You just got to know how to exercise your forgiving attributes. And so before we get into this message, I want you to listen to this incredible song by The Truth called Forgiveness. Be right back soon.
It's all about yeah. It's all about forgiveness and see the rain, it's in the sky. I see the pain, it's in the eyes. Just a man, prone to minimize. At midnight, I can hear the bitter cries. Love and hate, it's a thin line. I see you swallowing your pride to pretend it's fine. I wish I would've seen this ahead of time, then I could avoid all the pain that you feel inside. Can't sleep, all the memories, crying out the kind like, will they ever leave? Don't remember me, what's the remedy? I don't wanna feel like I'm sleeping with the enemy. Man, this whole thing is bittersweet. I should forgive since Christ is forgiving me. Yeah, at least I know this in my head, but it's so much easier said. Yeah, they say forgiveness is a choice. Disappointment and anger give bitterness a voice, but swallow my pride and follow my God till I finish this course. Forgiveness is a choice. Disappointment and anger give bitterness a voice, but I gotta swallow my pride and follow my God till I finish this course. It takes time, the minutes pass, erase the lines, you finish last. Cause you keep submitting to what's in the past, going through the same cycle like a spinning glass. And I know that it's a process, still trying to get past what your pops did. Yeah, now you feeling like a monster, explaining to the counselors everything your mom said. They cut you, Kinsu. God knows everything you've been through, how you been bruised, He's in tune. But forgiveness is the healing for them wounds. So you gotta let it go, it'll kill you if you let it grow. Unforgiveness is a poison, the choice is yours. I'm just a voice here to let them know that they say forgiveness is a choice. Disappointment and anger give bitterness a voice, but I gotta swallow my pride and follow my God till I'm finished on this course. They say forgiveness is a choice. Disappointment and anger give bitterness a voice, but I gotta swallow my pride and follow my God till I'm finished on this course.
The very last time he hit me, I vowed to never ever let anybody do that to me again.
He preached one thing but lived another, and had the nerve to call me a hypocrite.
He said I was his favorite, and this is how he shows he loves me.
After being married for 10 years, the test results come back positive.
She told me I was her only love, and then I saw her with him.
I thought she was my friend. How could she do this to me? Forgive them? Never.
You say I can't forgive and can't forget. They apologize, you can't accept, demand respect. Imagine that, when every time you sin, God canceled that. Yeah. And every time He's forgiven you, every time that you ate a piece of forbidden fruit. I know you've been abused, I ain't in your shoes, but I know if you let Him dig up the bitter roots and show Him love, you overcome. Loving enemies is part of growing up. Wanna hold a grudge, I know it's tough, but if Joseph the dreamer forgave his older bros, and Christ forgives and died for sins and likes to give life, though we ain't got the right to live, then we should know how to waive our rights to win. Whether a great or a light offense, gotta show Him love. Forgiveness is a choice, it's a choice. Follow my pride and follow my God till I finish this course. Forgiveness is a choice, it's a choice.
Well, welcome back. This is Robert Brown with The Winning with Love, and we've been talking about a series called Please F Me. That's right, Please F Me. I want to F you. If you ever put me in a position where I need to F you, I'm going to F you, and I'm going to F you good. Now, I know you're probably thinking the wrong thing. Get your mind out the gutter. It's nothing like that. We're talking about forgiveness. One of the most needed things in the world today is the ability to skillfully forgive people. And that's what we're going to learn today. We're going to learn how to skillfully forgive people. It's going to be like first nature to us on forgiving people, because we're going to find out some things about forgiveness, unforgiveness, bitterness, resentment, anger, frustration, opposition, defense, offenses, getting upset. We're just going to deal with all of that and how to craft it to where you can utilize that to make you better and other people better. So let's get right into it. But first, I want to pass and review some of the things we talked about in the last lesson. We talked about the origins of effing, where the effing started. And we found out that God started effing people a long time ago before we started effing people. In other words, God started forgiving people. And we talked about how Satan, his first thing on the scene was to get man to, first thing he was to do is to accuse God, to call him a liar, to cast doubt in Adam's and Eve's mindset concerning God. He used the very word, have not God said? Or, come on, man, you really believe that? You really believe God said something like that? God knows very well. And we're going to go back through this. We talked about how Adam disconnected from God, but God didn't disconnect from God. But Adam fell short of the glory. Man fell short of the glory, but that don't mean he fell totally out of the presence of the glory, because God is the glory of God. His glory is all around him. And Adam, as long as he was connected to God, he was clothed with that glory. And the only reason why he found out he was naked is because he disconnected from God through his disobedience and Eve's disobedience. So that's how he got disconnected and found out he was naked. And guess what? When we disconnect from God, we find ourselves exposed. We find ourselves naked. And what we find out and what we try to do, we try to cover ourselves up, putting a little fig leaf, trying to act like we got it all together. And it's not like that at all. So another thing we talked about, we found that God was upset. He was really upset. God was ticked off. He didn't talk to Adam pretty about the situation. God was upset. And guess what? When you are being questioned, if you are being, challenged about who you are, when somebody do you wrong, you have every right to be upset. God got upset. You have every right to be mad and upset and ticked off. But you don't have every right to use that as a weapon to kick people out of your life. And we'll go back into it. Another thing, God did not leave Adam. God was right there. We talked about that. God was upset, but God didn't jet up out of here. How many people in our lives, when we get upset, we jet? That's right, and that rhymes. When we get upset, we just jet. When we get upset, we just jet. Just think about that. Somebody have a default, and we're ready to get out of here. Not the God thing to do. So God did not do that. When God found out what Adam did, and he already knew, he was upset, but he did not leave man. He knew exactly what man did, but he already made a plan to fix the situation. Not separated from man, but with his man. He made it a plan. See, Adam default messed all of us up, even to me, even to you. And now it's our nature to just do sin. Just do totally what God tells us not to do. That's sin. Rebelling against God. That's sin. It's not the sin. It's the sin nature. So that's what God did. God knew exactly what happened. So let me recap. God was upset. You have every right to be upset. God was there, even if you saw him, even if you knew what happened. Still. But God knew what happened. Now, we talked about where this mess began. We talked about how God, Satan used the word, did God say, to plant the seed of doubt in Eve. How did he use it? He lied on God and accused God. And I'll go into that a little bit more. He's always will come with a question. Have not God said? He did it with Jesus in the wilderness. That's why you need to know what God said for yourself, because the reason Eve fell into that mess is because she didn't know what God knew herself. Here's the key. Don't wait for somebody to tell you what God's word said. You go find out what God's word says yourself. If not, you're going to have a default. Guarantee you. Another thing. His main job is to do opposite of God. He's the Antichrist. He's the anti-anointed. His job is to get us to do the same thing that he does. Accuse and lie. Doubt and question God, and doubt and question other people that God bring in our life. That's his job. His job is to get us to doubt God. God said he was going to hear you. Come on, man. You in stage 4 cancer. And God said he's going to hear you. Have not God said? Have not God said? You know, that God said he was going to bring y'all back together. You know that woman's still with that dude. And y'all going to get back together? Get out of here. You know, always coming like that with these doubts. You got to understand who he is. He's the accuser of the brethren. He is the father of lies. His two jobs, his two primary jobs is to accuse people and lie on people and teach us to do the same thing. Now, ain't that some nerves to take God's beautiful creation and cause them to accuse people and lie on people? That's the ultimate insult, to take my child and get him to go against me. He got some nerves. Well, he's doing that to us each and every day. He accuses and he calls us to lie. So that's his job. He's the accuser of the brother. His job is to go around and accuse you, accuse God and everybody that you know. And his job is to go around and lie. He is the father of lies. He invented it. You know, so then we talked about some principles. We had things called effing principles. And here was one. The seed of doubt harvests unforgiveness. The seed of doubt harvests unforgiveness. Satan's goal is to question God and others' authenticity. Then we talk about effing principle number 2. Accusation and lies are also seeds of unforgiveness. Accusations and lies are also seeds of unforgiveness. But the validation of God is the seed of forgiveness. In other words, you may have been accused of something, and you may have been lied on. I've had it happen to me. But if that person really is a Christian or really a believer in God or really wants to walk in perfect love, he's going to have to stop the accusation and stop the lying. See, when you accuse somebody and you really don't know the facts, guess what you're doing? You're lying.
Hate it. The love of Jesus is for all, even those that hate us. I know me and you ain't the same. What about love? I know me and you ain't the same. What about love? I know me and you ain't the same. What about love? I know me and you ain't the same. What about love?